Hello, this is Alpha Watkins. Just finally making a video, or kind of a video. No, it's 10 a.m., August the 5th. I'm outside. It's pretty dark. Well, it's dark. But it has occurred to me that there are a lot of people who have been under a lot of false impressions about me, I guess. And I had no idea. Um, Shit. I mean, I've lived in the same place 15 years since 2009. I've lived in this same place. I don't talk to anybody. I don't even know who my neighbors are. I don't speak to them. I don't even see them. And yet, everywhere I've gone, these people move in and move out. And I'm still here. And yet, everywhere I go, people seem to think they know me. Like, and the only way that could be true is that people are spreading rumors about me, and I don't even know what the rumors are. And really, I don't even care. But I've finally gotten to the place where I figured out where all of this shit started. I thought it was just people randomly spreading rumors about me and, just making up shit, because I'm one color and I'm living around people that are not the same color, and so that must be what it is. That wasn't, well, that might have a little bit of something to do with it, but that's not what it's been. It, I've recently found out it's been my family, my stupid family, and a couple of my friends that I grew up with childhood from 10 years old. I mean, I've known these people my whole life, only to come and find out they've been spreading rumors, and vicious rumors, apparently. I mean, the kind of rumors that drive people into a level of hysteria and anger and a desire to want to inflict harm on me, just, you know, because of just some shit they've heard, you know? And everywhere I go, like if I go to the store, there are people constantly having discussions about me, and they don't think I notice. I notice, I just don't care. I don't pay attention, because I don't really give a shit. But there's so much that surrounds this that I figure if I don't at least attempt to add another perspective, my perspective, I mean, this shit will never be mitigated, because it's people who don't know me, don't know anything about me, never met me, never had a discussion with me, don't know anybody that I have had a discussion with, and constantly discussing me, constantly talking about me as if they have personal experience with me. And the thing is this started back when I was 6 years old. I'm finding out my sister spread a rumor that I tried to rape some little girl. And it got all over the city that we were staying in. And I never even knew it. I never even suspected it because, turns out supposedly I have some sort of inheritance that she believes she deserves, and I don't. So, so apparently, all of these rumors, all of this effort to discredit me or to keep me from discussing anything or keep anybody from knowing me, keep anybody from figuring out what kind of person I am or am not, is all so that she can go into court and claim an inheritance that has nothing to do with her. But she's managed to spread so many rumors and to get so many people on her side just by her, and she must be a master at manipulating people and convincing them that I've said or done something because nobody ever told me. I grew up in a house that seemed alien to me, but it was all I knew. So I, just thought that was normal. But turns out they were all in on this little secret that has been going on. So all so she could get an inheritance. I'm still not really all that sure about. Like who who the hell do I know that left me anything? Like what? My people have money or something to leave me? What the hell? How is it nobody has ever told me? And all the while, they're going into court. They're getting people who they've made alliances with or made friendships with, and they go out into whatever community that I happen to be living in, and they spread all of these rumors about me, and then they kind of feed off of each other, none of them ever meeting me. I haven't spoken to my sister, my oldest sister, twice in the past 40 years. That's a long time to not speak to anybody, but to find out they're constantly out in every community that I've ever been in, knocking on people's doors, discussing me. That's absurd. And yet that's what's been going on. And, a lot of people don't tend to think very well, so they go along with it and, they get alarmed and they, buy whatever. And she's, must be pretty good at keeping it done in a way where she doesn't seem like she's spreading an outright rumor. You know, she's just expressing concern about her brother who's a little crazy and he might flip out and kill people, or he likes to rape people, or he likes to molest little kids, or whatever it is she's been spreading about me. It keeps people in such an irate state. They have no desire to want to meet me or know me, but they're constantly discussing me. And this is why I'm constantly being gang stalked, and it's perfectly okay. No matter what people see, it's perfectly okay because, well, it's that crazy dude. So whatever they do to him, hell, he deserves it. I mean, it's elaborate. But now that I know there's a reason behind it, and I'm sure she doesn't tell the people that she, convinces to believe her lies, to believe her rumors, and they turn around and spread those rumors as if it's fact, like as if it's fact that they've personally experienced or something. And but they don't know she uses those people to actually go into a literal courtroom while she's proclaiming or attempting to try and get, I guess, conservatorship or something over whatever inheritance I've supposedly been left. While she's engaging in that, she's got people who don't know me, never met me, never discussed me, never had a conversation with me. But they're going into court, signing affidavits, claiming that I've, threatened them, or claiming that I've, or they've seen me flipping out, or, all of this stuff. All so that she can say, see, he's mentally incompetent. He can't take care of himself. That's why I have to take over this inheritance and have conservatorship, because he's mentally incompetent. He wouldn't know what to do with it. That kind of nonsense. I mean, it's just so mind-boggling. And for some reason, there's a judge sitting there who's presiding over this and not saying, well, I don't want to discuss any of this until you find a way to get him into this courtroom. Even if he's crazy as hell, even if he's, even if you have to bring him in with a freaking ball gag over his mouth and sedate it, bring him in here. before we have any discussion about who's supposed to receive this inheritance. You would think that's what someone would do, but they don't, because she's good at manipulating people. She's a total narcissist that is apparently able to put on a good show. You know, when she goes from door to door talking to people about me, people who've never met me, people who never will meet me, she's literally putting on an act as if she's this kind, caring, motherly figure who is just looking out for my welfare, but she doesn't want me to know, that that's what she's doing. And, and she's just asking them to look out for me. But when you're telling people that I'm this psychotic serial killer, pedophile, rapist, whatever it is she's claiming, or, when you're telling people that, but you pretend like what you're really up to is you're just asking them to look out for me, to watch out for me. Now she knows it. People you tell that shit to, they're not going to be looking out for me. You know damn well nobody's going to look out for somebody they think is a serial killer, a fucking pedophile, a psychopath. Nobody's going to do that shit. The best you could hope they do is avoid me. But that's the pretense she puts on. But then she sweetens the pot, okay? She offers them money, like if they need anything, if they happen to lose their job, or they happen to just, come up on a month where they don't really, they can't really make ends meet. And somehow she's able to swoop in and offer a couple of $1,000s to fix the car, or a couple of $100s to, make ends meet for the rent or buy groceries or whatever. And that indebts people to you. They have a level of gratitude because you happen to be the one person that came through for them that when they couldn't make ends meet. People have a tendency to remember that, and they want to show gratitude, you know. So now they become her lackeys. They become her flying monkeys. I guess that's the psychological term. Her flying monkeys. That's what narcissists generate. Flying monkeys. People who run around, do their bidding. And these are the kind of people who will come into a courtroom and outright lie just to help her, in the hopes, of her getting conservatorship over an inheritance that I'm still not even sure about. Yeah, that's apparently the reason. So, I mean, the crazy stuff this person has done to me my entire life, it's how she has been able to completely isolate me from everybody that I might have ever made friends with. And that way, none of those people will ever tell me what the fuck is going on, including my family. And supposedly they've been able to steal some of the inheritance because for a little while she was able to access this money. And so she uses that money to pay off people, to buy influence, to, bribe people, to, whatever. And it has kept me in this cycle of total isolation without even knowing that I'm being isolated deliberately. And so I've been living my life, not bothering anybody, not really giving a shit that people didn't care to interact with me, because I didn't particularly care to interact with them either. But it seemed, kind of odd that, wait a minute, how is it I'm getting this reaction everywhere I go? Everywhere I go, it's the same thing. I think, okay, this is a new place, people are going to be different. Don't have the same expectations because, you can bring negative energy to the same situation and create the same environment. And before you know it, you're experiencing the same thing you were experiencing, where you lived before and all the other places. But it just, it turns out it's been my family. And the thing is I used to call a couple of them and try my best to convince them of whatever was, I could perceive was going on. Try to convince them, like, if I could get them to understand that, no, this is real. There's something real going on. I just can't figure out what it is. And they're steady gaslighting me, steady playing like they have no idea that I'm anything but crazy. And this, it's mind boggling, but I suspect a whole lot of people who have allied with my sister are now experiencing consequences and things that they would really rather not. And, that's a different subject, but this is all eventually going to come to light. Like, the fact that my family would go so far as to create this elaborate ruse to have my so-called best friend, I'm fresh out of high school, take me to a party and set me up so that they could create a narrative, a straight out lie, and claim that I either raped or tried to rape some girl that I did neither. And then they apparently got it into a courtroom where somehow they were able to, they didn't, I don't know if it was an actual conviction or if it was just, I don't know, whatever it was, it, she has an ally inside of the court who can change documents just by writing little things on it, or just change one thing to another, and a not guilty verdict will become a guilty verdict. And a guilty verdict will become a no contest verdict, or, something like that. And they have done this a couple of times. And that's why I can't even get the police to help me out. Even though I don't bombard them with calls, I don't call them constantly saying, hey, these people are doing this, I'm being gang stalked, there are people breaking into my house, there are people, I hear people talking about how they're going to do this to me and they're going to do that. Would you at least come talk to them? Would you? I don't do that, because I've known for a long time they're not going to help me. Once enough people are convinced that you're mentally ill, even if they suspect that it's bullshit, they basically don't have to assist you. If they're not particularly called to do so, and they can just write it off as me having some sort of mental breakdown. So, it's crazy. The level of the diabolical nature of all of this shit, and for it to have gone on this long, and for me to not even suspect, me to have no idea that not only was this whole thing going on, but that the very people I was trying to convince that it was going on, that if I could convince them, if I could somehow get them to believe me, then maybe they could start to assist me, or figure out what's going on. Because I'm one person, I can't go out into a community that has already been turned against me, so to speak. And all the while, I'm trying to convince the very people who are at the head of this. They have literally built some sort of organization off of it. Like, I have literally had people doing, my so-called best friend, Henry McKenzie, I'm not ashamed to say these motherfuckers' names. Like, these people literally were drugging me, you know, back right after high school, during that period, were literally taking me to parties, drugging me, and performing sex rites on me. Like, literally raping me while I'm asleep, performing some sort of sex rites, like they're trying to infect me with a demon or something. That's absurd. And yet, this is what these people believe in, so that's what they were doing. And I never even suspected it. That's crazy. So, this was just my first attempt to, I guess, record my thoughts, put it on some sort of record or video, and whatever. Maybe I'll make more detailed videos, to solidify. But this information is supposedly already beginning to come out. A lot of the stuff that I've said is already in the courts, already being proven. The way the links these people will go through to set me up, to make it look like I'm selling drugs, to set me up to make it look like I'm some sort of prostitute. That's freaking absurd. Like, that's just retarded. I mean, there are people like my neighbors. Every time I get one of these new phones, I don't even bother buying a phone. I just get one of those government phones because they they'll break into my house, steal the SIM card, duplicate it, and then so that way they can have texts, and they can also keep me from receiving certain texts, certain calls, certain emails, whatever. And they literally went through this elaborate ruse where they took some of the money that was part of my inheritance and paid someone $200,000 to try and have me murdered. And the person didn't go through with it because there were some spiritual things happening, and that just didn't let them be successful. But the fact that my family went through this elaborate game, all so that they figured if they could murder me, then they could claim whatever that inheritance is, and there's nobody that would, compete for it because, well, the person whose name it's in is dead, so it's got to go somewhere, I guess. I mean, the level of ridiculousness that this shit has gone for so long, and so many people being duped, so many people being bribed, so many, even judges, corrupt judges being bought off or bribed and blackmailed, and cops, well, it's not so hard to understand cops, being bribed and bought off, but the fact that there are officials who could have figured this stuff out, who could have at least made some attempt to find out what's true and what's not. But, they can be bought off, or they can be blackmailed, or they can be influenced by other methods that it's probably best not to go into just yet. But anyway, this is just my initial thoughts on a video, and I doubt anybody will listen to it, but hell, it's out there now. So I'll sign off, and hopefully my house is cooled off enough and I can finally go in, and it must be about 11 o'clock by now, but they keep this energy weapon aimed at my house, and it keeps my house so hot that I can barely sit inside of it now. I have to sit outside just to cool off, even though, as you can hear, I have an air conditioning unit or one of those window air conditioning units, and it does nothing. I'll sit in that house and immediately start sweating nonstop. That's how hot they keep it. And it's like being in a sauna 24 hours a day. Imagine how much you would sweat. Imagine how much weight and muscle mass you would lose pretty quickly if you could stand it. And yet, this is what I deal with. This and a bunch of other shit. So anyway, I guess I'm going to call it here for now. Maybe make another one at some other time with a little bit more detail. All right. So this is Alpha Watkins, and I don't have a clever catchphrase to sign off, so later.